All right, here we go.
against immigration all the way, but you're only for immigration when it benefits America. So if there's a
Yeah.
shortage in an industry or something, and you
Exactly.
feel like it's going to completely change what the country is if we go from it being 80 to 90% white and having one set of values and culture to the opposite. And you said it's on track to doing that?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're on track. By 2100, it's going to be like 30% white in America.
Okay, first off, sources. Secondly, right, by the year 2100, so when we're all dead, when all the people right now having this conversation are long dead, you have an issue with the world changing. There is no way it's going to go from 98% of America to 30%. You think this is the great replacement theory?
And people don't really realize what that's going to look like. It's going to be a fundamentally different place. And, you know, and I'm using these words precisely. It doesn't mean inferior. It doesn't mean, because that's what they always say. It's like, oh, you know, you don't like these people, or oh, you hate
But
them, or
you don't.
think they're worse.
You are a white supremacist. This isn't me just saying, oh, this guy's a racist. Like, here.
Support women's rights. I don't support LGBT rights. I believe in race and gender essentialism. I'm Catholic. I'm a Catholic reactionary. I believe that organized Jewry is extremely influential in the United States and pushes America towards an open society, liberalism, internationalism for their own benefit.
He is a white supremacist. He is undoubtedly a white supremacist. You can look up Nick Fuentes himself. And even the fact that this video right now has the question, is Nick Fuentes racist? Yes. Yes, he is. And he's going to do all the tricks. I have not even watched this video. You can see the bar below. I have not watched this entire video. But he's going to do the tricks where he's going to try to repackage things like the great replacement theory. He's going to try to use softer language because he's talking to this person who is an idiot, by the way. Pearly thinks she's an idiot. She's, I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's like, it's just different. You know, one of the things, the most profound thing is that we love as human beings, we love our homes. You know, that's what the Odyssey is about. That's what great literature is about, is we love our people, we love our homes, we love where we're from. And can you really say that when America is transformed in this way, that it'll still be our home?
Do you see what I'm talking about? He's trying to equate the current status quo of America with white people being dominant as the natural state, as his home. And if that changes, then is that really his home? But what he neglects to mention is America was never his home. America belonged to the Native Americans who were not white. It's their home. They had to suffer through change, right? We put I shouldn't say, not we as in my black guys, but we as in the Americans, our forefathers, put them in reservations. We killed them. We took most of their land and we settled on it. And now he's afraid, essentially, him, all white Americans are afraid that that's going to happen to them. That the things that they've done historically is going to happen to them. Some sort of, cosmic karma is going to happen to them. And so he's afraid of that. That's what white supremacy is built off of: fear. Fear of having things happen to them that they have done to others. So he's phrasing it like this to be like, oh, well, it's like, in the Odyssey. I'm like, the Odyssey was not really about him going just home because it was, yes, he went home, but the Odyssey was more about the journey. Like, it was a journey. The guy wanted to go, that's a basic thing, but the whole story itself was about the journey. He didn't want to go literally anywhere. He just wanted to see his wife again. And of course he misses his people because he's been gone for such a long period of time. But the whole thing is mostly about him and his wife and what he will do to get back to his family. Not necessarily get home to just Ithaca.
It'll still be like the way it is. It's not. And that cultural erasure is happening everywhere in America. Like Little Italy in Chicago, which is where my great-grandfather was a shoemaker and everything. It's completely different now. It's been transformed. And
transformed how, though? Again, transformed in what way? Transformation, change in itself isn't bad. But he won't get into the specifics as to how it's transformed, because then that illuminates the fact that he's a racist.
And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. All this, when people say that's being diversified, there is a benefit there. I'm not going to stand here and say that diversity doesn't have benefits. Like, there is the good food, but it doesn't come without a cost.
And the good producer.
And a great producer. And a charming producer. But,
oh, you idiot. Don't help him look. Oh, my God. You are so bad at this, Pearl.
Let him in, whoever the new president is. Let him in. I'll let you on my show.
Yeah.
I'll campaign.
Yeah, just don't tell them that they know me. You can put on a watch list or something.
Yeah.
You are already on a no-fly list from TSA. Why am I doing this?
But
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know.
This guy's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
We don't like him.
Yeah, we don't.
This is.
But it gets to the idea, even when we talked about with the economics argument of it, capitalism is based on creative destruction is one of the terms, which is that when innovation comes, it destroys what existed previously. Mm-hmm. The Model T destroyed the horse industry, the horse situation.
The horse industry. The Model T destroyed the horse industry.
And the same is true of immigration. It's like, and to a lesser extent, but it's an analogy. Yeah, these rapid transformations are happening, and what is changing
wait.
of immigration? It's like, and to a lesser extent.
See, because he knows it's bullshit. It is nowhere near the same level. There's such a huge disparity between trying to say that innovation and technology changes the way the world functions versus people immigrating to a country. People immigrating to a country does not have anywhere near the same effect as new technology. As he so eloquently put it, the Model T destroyed the horse industry. We no longer ride in carriages, at least not for our primary means of transportation. We have cars, we have motorcycles, you could take a train, you could all those things, right? We have all those different types of locomotion. Immigrants coming to your country does not dramatically change anything, nowhere near that level. And he knows that, but he's still trying to equate it because he says it's destructive, right? They're going to destroy the old ways and start the new ways. This country is still a white majority country. We still have, unfortunately, white supremacy. He's doing everything based off fear, and he's trying to drop little things like, okay, maybe not as bad, but still. And she doesn't push past. Why did she let him just say this?
Analogy. Yeah, these rapid transformations are happening, and what has changed? It's destroying the way things used to be. And
what would those? Again, I'm sorry, I'm doing Hassan right now, but he doesn't give detail to what those things used to be. He's not telling you what they're destroying. He's leaving it to your imagination, but we all know what he's saying is these immigrants, these non-white people coming to this country are destroying our white livelihood. That's what he's talking about. And that's why he's trying to phrase his words, like I said, very carefully, but it's very clear to anyone with the working brain cells that he's hinting at that, because this man is fundamentally a white supremacist. And my God, Pearl, push back on something.
You can have a little bit of that, but you can't have a lot of it rapidly in every sector, which is what's happening. Technologically,
what do you mean by rapidly?
In terms of the demographics,
what
culturally.
Do you mean that's what's happening?
Oh my God. Okay, thank you. Wow. Maybe she's not so terrible at this.
That's what's happening in America. Mm-hmm. What's happening is a rapid pace of change in everything. Like human beings 100 years ago were on a horse and buggy, and everybody believed in God, and when women wore veils in church. And look at what it's like today.
You could get a virgin bride.
Yeah.
God damn it, Pearl. I give you credit for 2 seconds, and this is what you do. No, push back on that. He's just repeating himself. People used to ride on buggies 100 years ago and go to everyone loved church and went and loved God. Okay, what does that have to do with anything? And guess what? Like 60 years ago, black people couldn't vote. Like, what are you trying to say? You want to go back to those days where you could... Listen, Nick, if you want to ride a horse, there are horses available. You can just buy a fucking horse, dude.
Yeah, for real. Now it's not that way. So it's this.
Oh, so you're saying that everything's changing too fast.
Yeah.
In your point of view, and you think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, because that's what being a conservative is all about. is...
Well, because I'm kind of torn. On one hand, I do feel like you should adapt with the market.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like, is technological advancement always a bad thing? I don't necessarily think it's bad, but I can see what you're saying when you have a complete shift in values.
Well, it's about all of it. It's about fundamentally what being a conservative is about, is saying that, because liberals will say, "Oh, conservatives are superstitious. They're ignorant. They're like that's their big argument against religion, is that it's superstition and it's sort of like vestigial, meaning it's sort of like outlived its purpose." What a conservative would say broadly is that the society that we have because of those traditions, like the rituals, the things we used to do. Maybe people don't understand why we had them or why they worked, but they worked.
Okay, so I'm sure he's going to explain why they work, right? He's going to explain to us because he's a conservative. He knows what he's talking about.
By virtue of the fact that they survived and they're still here.
Okay, no. All right, so real quick, how superstitions work, and I'm not calling religion superstition. I'm just saying in general how superstitions work, right? When people believe in superstition, is because they've been doing it for such a long period of time, and the outcome they wanted is happening. They conflate the two. It's like, every morning I turn on the news and I watch it for 5 minutes, then I leave, because when I do that, I don't get into car accidents. You're conflating two separate events into one outcome. That's superstition. Just because it's worked, that doesn't mean that is the reason why it's working. You could get into your car and you hit the dashboard 3 times and then you turn on the car and it starts. The car's not started because you hit the dashboard 3 times before you start the car. The car is starting because that's its function. It's to start. You turn the key in the ignition, engine turns on. That's its function. But they're trying to say that hitting the dashboard relates to the car turning on, and that's not what's happening here.
And that's not to say that we shouldn't change, because you do sometimes have to change.
And also, he says nothing. He says nothing. He says one thing and then goes, "Oh, but you don't have to." Then what point are you trying to make?
I agree with you. I think technological progress is a good thing sometimes, but I don't believe in this religion of progress, that it's always a good thing. Bigger, faster, more diverse.
Because then it's
more diverse. We have biological evidence that environments that promote, more diversity and more biodiversity last longer. It is literally why we as human beings exist. It is because of diversity. There is no such thing as too diverse. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. There is not a system that's so diverse where nothing works. Diversity is an outcome of your environment. Like, just look what's happening to Japan right now. Look at their birth rates. Look what's happening to them. They are on the decline because they refuse to allow more diversity within that system. Whereas in America, we have, one might say, too many people. But we have a lot of diversity, and we are not suffering from that issue because diversity is never the issue.
It's like, what, you're doing things inefficiently for no reason?
Well, it's not for no reason.
I'm just thinking of this in my personal life, in my business. Why would I do something the slow way? In the name of what? Culture?
Here's why. Check this out. It's like, you look at a smartphone.
Right.
Smartphone is the most amazing tool that mankind has ever invented, like without a question.
I mean, no. We've invented, computers which predate smartphones. Satellite technology is pretty cool. GPS, just medical. But fine, sure. Smartphone. What are you going with this?
But look at what it's doing to young people now. Like, could you think of a reason why it'd be better to not give a kid a smartphone until they're like an adult and give them a dumb phone instead? Or even why you might use a dumb phone as an adult, for that matter. Because smartphones, while they can be very effective, they also can be very addictive, and there's all kinds of problems associated with it. And so, it's something about the old way is the way that survived, and again, that's not
the old. I don't have time to saying it. The old way survived because that was the technology of the time. This is the equivalent of saying we should go back to writing on quills because you didn't used to get viruses back in the day. Because that was the technology of the time. Technology progresses. He says the old ways survived. They literally haven't. They are gone. Who writes on a pen and quill on a quill anymore? No one. Who delivers messages via carrier pigeon or via horse? Nobody. No one does those old things anymore. Who uses improvised tools to go hunting for stuff? No one, because we don't have to do that because technology is advanced. The old ways are dead. Why are you not pushing back on this?
It's a heuristic. It's not something that applies, or it's not an ironclad law that says, we can never change. And it's not about rigidity. It's about saying that we ought to be very judicious and careful about the changes that we make and the decisions we make about. And across the board, it's like capitalism, globalization, secularization, liberalization. It is fundamentally changing society. And you look around and
what is liberalization?
We're in London right now. Do we love the society that all of that is produced? Because this is the epicenter of it, and it's like when you put all that together, does this create a heaven on earth? Is this the best place in the world?
Why do you say London's the epicenter of that?
Well, because London was the seat of the British Empire, and they were behind the liberalization of liberalism. America is the product of Britain.
What the fuck? Is he trying to say that the British Empire and liberalism are coexisting, and that oh my god, no, America is a byproduct of overtaxation, sure, but to be like liberalism, what? Liberalism? America had slavery. What do you mean okay. My blood pressure is going high. I can take a break.
But I'm just thinking, who decides what technology goes forward and what doesn't?
The society.
Okay, how would you do that?
Through the government. That's right, why I'm
so then you have politicians dictating what's allowed and what isn't. I just don't know how you would do that in an effective way.
That's the question.
Yeah, because then it's like, what are the politicians God? You're going to tell me I can't use my smartphone?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. That's a valid point, but that is really, that's kind of the tension.
This is so stupid. Like, holy shit, dude.